Good morning. Welcome to morning meditation. Sorry for those who were trying to live stream it and our audio issues have been corrected. Thanks be to God and to Joan, our fearless, what do we call these people who do things? Videographer. Great to have you with us this morning. We'll remember John Paul II, 100th anniversary of his birth years. He was born in 1920. An amazing life, right? I've taken a piece from the USCCB website back when he was going to be canonized, and just so many things that are amazing about him. He's the longest reigning pope in modern history. He visited 129 countries, 104 trips, 700,000 miles, and he was pope for more than 27 years. He died at the age of 84 on Vatican City on the Vigil of Divine Mercy Sunday, and we will talk a bit more about his Divine Mercy Sunday. The first non-Italian pope in 455 years, and right, this used to be, is the Pope Polish is kind of a joke. Well, of course not, ha ha ha. And then after John Paul II is the Pope Polish, well, just a great source of pride for Polish people around the world, and even Polish people locally would speak so pridefully. The date of his canonization was on Divine Mercy Sunday in 2014, and he put Divine Mercy Sunday, the Sunday after Easter, on the church calendar in the year 2000. And that has been a devotion with really great power, as we've seen lots of people come to church on Divine Mercy Sunday. And of course, the Divine Mercy was given to us in a vision. Saint Faustina, whom he also beatified and canonized in the year 2000. He instituted the World Youth Day. In his later years, the Pope moved with difficulty, tired easily, and was less expressive, all symptoms of the nervous system disorder of Parkinson's. Yet he pushed himself to the limits of his physical capabilities, convinced that such suffering was itself a form of spiritual leadership. Here are some of the most important dates of John Paul II's life. 1920, May 18th, he's born in Wadowice, Poland. 1920, his mother dies. He receives his first communion. 1938, he moves to Krakow, goes to university, and joins the theater group there. 1940, the Nazis come to Poland. His university studies are interrupted. He works as manual labor during World War II. 41, his father dies. 42, he enters the secret seminary in Krakow. 44, is hit by a car, hospitalized, hid in the Archbishop's home to avoid arrest by the Nazis. 45, World War II ends. He resumes studies at the university. November 1st, of course, we're coming upon that, All Saints' Day, ordained a priest and goes to Rome for graduate studies. 49, he's named an assistant pastor in Krakow. 54, he begins teaching philosophy and earns his doctorate in philosophy. 58, he is ordained auxiliary bishop of Krakow. 62, goes to Rome for the First Vatican Council session. 63, goes to the Second Vatican Council session and is named Archbishop of Krakow on December 30th, 1963. So at the age of 43, he's an archbishop, or named an archbishop. 64, he's installed, attends Vatican Council's third session. And 65, he attends the final Vatican Council session. 1967, he's made a cardinal and is named to the First World Synod of Bishops, but stayed home to protest the Polish government's denial of a passport to Poland's primate, Cardinal Stefan Wyszynski. 71, goes to the Bishop Council in Rome. October 16th, 1978, he is elected the 264th Pope and Bishop of Rome. His first visit is to Assisi, one of his 146 trips within Italy. He visits a Rome parish, marking his first of 317 visits to Rome, 333 parishes. 1979, he goes to the Dominican Republic and Mexico. He also visits Poland, Ireland, United States, Turkey. I think the 79 visit was the one that went to Iowa, wasn't it? I think the 79 visit went to Iowa. He passed by in a motorcade, and people stood on the side of the road and greeted the Pope in Iowa. That is something, the Pope in Iowa. 1980, he convenes a special Dutch synod. 1981, strangely, one of my favorite stories. He is shot and severely wounded by Mehmet. Of course, his being shot is not my favorite part of the story. But he's shot. Mehmet gets caught. He gets sent to prison. Then in 1983, the Pope goes to visit him in prison. And the story goes that Mehmet says to him, "What are you doing alive? I'm a professional killer. I shot to kill. It should not have missed you." And if we maybe remember the story that the Pope credited the Blessed Virgin with directing the bullet so that it missed any of his vital organs. And one of the bullets from his being shot is in the crown of Our Lady of Fatima in Fatima. And of course, in 1982, he goes to Fatima and prays there and thanks the Blessed Mother for his life. 82, he meets with Yasser Arafat. 84, he establishes diplomatic relations with the United States. 85, warns that abortion in Europe is demographic suicide. 86, he visits Rome's synagogue. He calls world religious leaders to Assisi to pray for peace. 87, he opens a Marian year, writes an encyclical on Mary, and attends the first International World Youth Day in Argentina. In 1989, of course, communism collapses in Eastern Europe. He is seen as a key figure in that. 1991, he issues an encyclical marking 100 years of Catholic social teaching after Rerum Novarum in 1891. 1997 names St. Therese of Lisieux a Doctor of the Church. 1998 he visits Cuba, starts first permanent Catholic-Muslim dialogue. 1999, this is also one of my favorite stories of him. This was the Y2K year, and people were stockpiling food and duct taping their windows. No, that might have been a different year. But they were stockpiling food. This was the year, of course, that computers weren't going to be able to... the computers were going to go roll over to 1900 instead of rolling over to 2000, changing everything. Our cars weren't going to run. And you know, I tell this story. The only thing that was Y2K compliant that wasn't Y2K compliant was my grandmother's headstone. When Grandpa died in 1972, they put a little 19 under her name, but then she lived to be 2000 lived till 2003. Way to go, Grandma. And so they had to redo the headstone. 2003 marks the 25th anniversary as Pope, beatifies Mother Teresa of Calcutta. And of course, he did lots. He beatified and canonized groups of people. And so the Ugandan martyrs, the Japanese martyrs, the Korean martyrs, the Vietnamese martyrs. He just did groups of these different martyrs in countries to show the different persecutions, but also to show the persevering of faith outside of Europe. I mean, he had a real thought that as clearly the Catholic faith has grown outside of Europe and America, just the growing of that. And so he had a real heart for that. 2004, he opens the year of the Eucharist. 2005, he dies, April 2nd. 2011, May 1st, Feast of St. Joseph, by the way, for those keeping track at home. He is beatified, called Blessed John Paul II. And then Divine Mercy Sunday, 2014, Pope Francis and Pope Emeritus Benedict concelebrate his canonization in St. Peter's Square. All right, and as our time is ticking here, we will go through his quotes. Just some fabulous quotes. And I'm getting these off of Brainy Quotes. And, you may want to go. He has great stuff, though. Freedom consists not in doing what we like, but in having the right to do what we ought. Science can purify religion from error and superstition. Religion can purify science from idolatry and false absolutes. The future starts today, not tomorrow. And it was, and I don't know if this is in Brainy Quotes, but one of those beautiful things it was one of the early youth days, World Youth Days. He proclaimed the future is before us. And as he looked out at the youth, the future is standing before us. I would love to know the context of this quote, but that is not given, but it's a great quote. Stupidity is also a gift of God, but one mustn't misuse it. So, young people are threatened by the evil use of advertising techniques that stimulate the natural inclination to avoid hard work by promising the immediate satisfaction of every desire. I think I'm going to frame that one and put it on my wall or something. That is excellent for our advertising. And of course, in reading these, I'm getting advertisements, and one of them says, God has one message for you. This is an advertisement. So it's kind of funny that these end up on the same page. And I don't know if he gave this quote in 99, but it really did fit his year of declaration of the year of hope. Do not abandon yourself to despair. We are Easter people, and hallelujah is our song. Marriage is an act of will that signifies and involves a mutual gift, which unites the spouses and binds them to their eventual souls, with whom they make up a soul family, a domestic church. Social justice cannot be attained by violence. Violence kills what it intends to create. The great danger for family life in the midst of any society whose idols are pleasure, comfort, and independence lies in the fact that people close their hearts and become selfish. To maintain a joyful family requires much from both the parents and the children. Each member of the family has to become, in a special way, the servant of the other. When freedom does not have a purpose, when it does not wish to know anything about the rule of law engraved in the hearts of men and women, when it does not listen to the voice of conscience, it turns against humanity and society. I have a sweet tooth for song and music. This is my Polish sin. Once again, the context it would be interesting, but pervading nationalism imposes its dominion on man today in many different forms and with an aggressiveness that spares no one. The challenge that is already with us is the temptation to accept as true freedom what in reality is only a new form of slavery. I hope to have communion with the people. That is the most important thing. Not sure what year he gave this quote, but radical changes in world politics leave America with a heightened responsibility to be for the world an example of a genuinely free, democratic, just, and humane society. The cemetery of the victims of human cruelty in our century is extended to include yet another vast cemetery, that of the unborn. Wars generally do not resolve the problems for which they are fought, and therefore prove ultimately futile. From now on, it is only through a conscious choice and through a deliberate policy that humanity can survive. Have no fear of moving into the unknown. Simply step out fearlessly, knowing that I am with you. Therefore no harm can befall you. All is very, very well. Do this in complete faith and confidence. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you for joining us today. Sorry of our technical difficulties. We got a little late and behind, but John Paul II was very worth it to hang in there and get those quotes and to hear from him again. We have one more this week. Tomorrow, Friday, morning meditation, 9 a.m., or Lord and technology willing. And then next week, Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m., morning meditation. Great to have you with us. God bless. Stay safe in the snow.